The Acoma Massacre of 1599 was a vicious retaliation against the Acoma Puebloans, carried out by Conquistador Don Juan de Oñate and his nephew, Vicente de Zaldivar. In 1595, Oñate was granted permission to travel to Santa Fe de Nuevo Mexico, present-day New Mexico, with the intention to conquer and colonize the region. With him, he brought soldiers, priests, and his two nephews, Juan de Zaldivar and his brother, Vicente de Zaldivar. They arrived in the fall of 1598 and were met with a fortified pueblo sitting atop a 350-foot mesa. The pueblo was home to around 4,000 people, and the Acoma leader, Zutaca Pen. Initially, Zutaca Pen planned to defend the pueblo against the Spanish with force. However, having been advised by Elder Champo and his son, Zutaca Pen decided against the attack and welcomed the Spanish colonists. Oñate remained suspicious, unsure of what the Puebloans had planned. He demanded provisions for his soldiers and ordered the Puebloans surrender to Spanish rule and the Catholic Church. Despite his demands, the encounter was peaceful, and Oñate continued his travels. In early December, following behind his uncle, Juan de Zaldivar arrived at the Acoma Pueblo with a group of 20 to 30 men, demanding additional provisions. It is unclear what exactly took place during this meeting, but it is suspected that Zutaca Pen denied his request and that Zaldivar and his men assaulted a woman, taking the provisions by force. A battle erupted, leaving Juan de Zaldivar and 11 of his men dead. Soon after, Oñate hears of his nephew's death. Furious, he sends Vicente de Zaldivar and 70 men back to the Acoma Pueblo to avenge their deaths. They arrived on January 21st, 1599. However, the battle did not begin until the following day on January 22nd. They fought over a period of 3 days, surrendering to the Spanish after soldiers infiltrated the pueblo with a cannon. Much of the pueblo was destroyed, and many were dead, with estimated casualties around 800. The Spanish, however, only lost 1. The short-term effects of the battle demonstrated cruelty towards the Puebloans. With their population decimated, Oñate ordered that men over the age of 25 would have their right foot cut off as further punishment for their defiance. As well, these men would be sentenced to slavery. Long-term effects included the enslavement of around 500 to 600 women, children, and boys who were over the age of 12 for a period of 20 years. They were forced to perform hard labor and convert to Catholicism, leaving their customs and culture behind. The survivors were left to repair what was once their home. In 1680, over 80 years since the battle, the Puebloans revolted against the Spanish. The events and atrocities that occurred during the Acoma Massacre helped to motivate the movement for the rebellion. Today, the actions of the Spanish colonists, especially Oñate, have not been forgotten, and the legacy of their brutality lives on. As recently as 1997, Don Juan de Oñate's equestrian statue was vandalized, symbolically having his foot cut off.